Hello once again, everyone. This is the Railsplitter Athletics Report, and I am your host, Rusty Peace. We are officially ready to close out the month of January. The Lincoln Memorial University men's and women's basketball teams hot in the chase for the South Atlantic Conference regular season race and titles. And we're going to be talking with Josh Schertz a little bit later on tonight. The Lincoln Memorial University men ranked number 12 in the country for the third time this season. And they have defended that thus far this week quite well against Carson Newman and, of course, against Lenoir-Rhyne University. We'll talk with him later on tonight. We're going to be talking with Scott Erland of the Lincoln Memorial University Sports Information Office in the first half of our show. And, of course, Scott has been doing some dual duties lately with me on the LMU Sports Network, so we'll talk to him about that as well. That's coming up next. LMU athletic teams, as far as the spring sports, finally getting an opportunity to go outside, but they're having to brave the cold. So we'll talk about that a little bit later on, as well as Lincoln Memorial University women's basketball. Back after this on the Railsplitter Athletics Report.
Sigmund Communications is your local radio and television stations bringing your local information, local news, and the best music from yesterday and today. Sigmund Communications was established in 1987 on the campus of Lincoln Memorial University. Since then, we have been involved in community events and other projects. Sigmund Communications is not only your local radio and television stations, but we are a learning facility aimed at educating students in the field of broadcast communications. Sigmund Communications, not just the great building with satellites that sits on the hill.
We're now MediaStream, bringing home to you more and more improvements. As your hometown team, we're dedicated to bringing our friends and neighbors more service upgrades than ever before. Always available 24/7 customer service and technical support. 30-day money-back guarantee on services. Improved bundles that will save you money. Get ready to do more of the things you love with the people you love and with savings you'll love. Call 1-800-392-2662 for details. MediaStream, bringing it home to you.
Bringing it home to you.
Since 1973, DeRoyal has been a leader and an innovator in manufacturing products for the healthcare industry. DeRoyal supplies more than 20,000 products and product lines such as acute care, orthopedics, wound care, and trauma. DeRoyal is proud to be the largest supplier of orthopedic soft goods to clinics and hospitals in the nation. Since its start in Tazewell, Tennessee, DeRoyal has grown to open factories in over 29 locations worldwide and employs over 2,000 people. DeRoyal, a name you can trust and an employer you can count on.
Looking for efficient, compassionate, and comprehensive health care for you and your family? Visit University Medical Clinic. All providers are faculty members of LMU's DeBus College of Osteopathic Medicine and are board certified in their specialty. Multiple specialties available including family medicine, pediatrics, OBGYN, and osteopathic manipulative medicine, with locations in Harrogate, Tazewell, and New Tazewell, and most insurance plans accepted. University Medical Clinic is here to serve you. Call 423-869-7193 for an appointment. University Medical Clinic.
Welcome back to the Railsplitter Athletics Report. You know, a lot of seasons are in preparation right now for the spring schedule, and I'm talking about the spring sports here at Lincoln Memorial University. Men's and women's basketball, though, are in the thick of the South Atlantic Conference race. And this past Saturday, both the LMU men and women traveled to Hickory, North Carolina to take on the Lenoir-Rhyne University Bears. On Saturday, it was the Lady Railsplitters that got things started first in their 2 o'clock outing with the Bears of Lenoir-Rhyne. Todd Starkey and his team always put together a quality club. That was the case on Saturday as the Lady Railsplitters were clearly outmatched. There you see Kalasia Green taking the ball linked to the floor and putting in a basket. Unfortunately for the LMU women, the victory was not to be had on Saturday as Lenoir-Rhyne handled LMU quite nicely, coming away with a double-digit victory to knock LMU down to 8-8 on the year and to 1-5 in league play. On Wednesday evening, the Lady Railsplitters traveled over to Jefferson City, Tennessee in hopes of breaking that losing streak. Unfortunately, Carson Newman also doing the same as they came away with a sizable victory over LMU. The Lady Railsplitters are now 8-9 on the year, 1-6 in league play, and they will have to wait until Saturday to get the monkey off their back when they take on the Bulldogs of Wingate University. Here's some footage from that game over there on Wednesday evening at Holt Fieldhouse. The two teams have squared off for several years in the past, and of course LMU was a club sport until the late 70s or early 80s. The first victory over Carson Newman was not until the mid to late 80s in the Roger Vanoy era. LMU has not won against the Lady Eagles in some time now, and hopefully they'll be able to pick up a victory when Carson Newman comes to the Tex Turner Arena later on in the season. Of course, Scott Erland joined us over there in Jefferson City on Wednesday evening. And Scott, I know that you called the men's game, but you got to see the women's game as well. You got to get some video footage of that game for us here on the Railsplitter Athletics Report. Roger Hodge and his team last night really having some problems in terms of turnovers. 59 turnovers between the Lady Railsplitters and the Eagles of Carson Newman.
Yeah, Russ, and another thing that we didn't mention is there was 38 total fouls, too. It was really an ugly game. Neither team really got to develop an offensive rhythm, but the difference in the game came that the Eagles were able to shoot 40% from the field while we were held to 33%. I think that Coach Hodge and the staff, they've just struggled to really find a rhythm and what kind of an offensive identity. Generally, we've been a pretty strong defensive team this year, but so far it's been tough to find points.
Scott, you wound up doing the color commentary for the men's game last night. We'll talk about that in a moment. But, about a year ago, you took over as the assistant or one of the sports information directors down there in the LMU athletics department. And having been in that position before, I know that the workload it can be very sizable at times, very strenuous. That all being said, that workload, I know they're frying your brain down there right now, so to speak. But you've also volunteered to do some color commentary on the LMU Sports Network. Are you just a glutton for punishment, or is this something that you just like doing?
Man, I love being around our sports teams, Russ. And I was in your ear for about a year until you finally let me on there. I figured, well, if I can just pester Rusty enough, he'll let me on. He'll let me on eventually, and eventually he had to. And it's been a good time, though. I didn't leave the office till 1:30, but I wouldn't have it any other way. I enjoy it, and I know you remember those nights too. But I enjoy supporting the teams and playing my small role in their successes.
I don't miss those days, but I can tell you when you're 25 years old and you're young and you're enthusiastic like that, it's a dream you're living. But sooner or later, you'll adopt that sports information's mentality that that it's athletic season when you eat on a regular basis and you have more university apparel than any other clothes you have in your closet.
That's exactly right. It's all blue. It's all royal blue in there and navy blue, excuse me. But I love it. Like I said, I wouldn't have it any other way, and that's my favorite part of it, is getting to feel like I play some small role in the success here at Lincoln Memorial.
LMU falling, of course, in that women's matchup, 63-51 on Wednesday evening. That drops the Lady Railsplitters to 8-9, 1-6 in league play. Scott, when you look at this team, they have talent, and I see that what they're trying to do. There's times that they play well, but they're still missing that inside presence, and with the lack of that dominating inside presence, it really creates some problems out on the perimeter for the guards.
Yeah, and the guards have been hounded this year. The turnovers have really been an issue. We've seen them struggle with that. But in my mind, one of our best overall all-around players is Miranda Bodie, and I don't know that I've seen a player on the women's side that's more athletic than her, but she's not very comfortable catching the ball on the block and making a move. She likes to score and dirty, getting in there and getting rebounds and scoring easy buckets. But with her back to the basket, she's not really been able to make the move and attack the basket like you would like to see sometimes from a prototypical inside presence. And we just really haven't had anybody develop. We have a lot of younger people in there right now, and that's been one of the other problems with the offense so far.
Let's talk about the men last night. Of course, they go over with just so many factors surrounding the game that could have beens or ifs, and we didn't know whether Wally Jones was going to be able to go for the entire game or even close to 100%. We didn't know if Lorenza Ross was going to be in the game at all. C.J. Wakely lost for the year. Carson Newman, a very good team this year, obviously, and one that has created some problems for some teams. They took Anderson to 5 at their place. But last night, here's Jake Troyley. This guy was unconscious in the first half, and being a big man and having played the sport, it's a special thing to be in a zone like he was in last night.
And it was a special thing to watch. I know it was for me personally, Russ. And he, of course, Coach Schertz will tell you that he's got the highest ceiling of anybody on our team at this point right now. And he's got 58 total points in the last 2 games. He's really showed up when we need him. But and that's what good teams do. We're looking to go into that game. It's a scary thought when you got to play Ishmael Sanders and Antoine Davis, two of the top 5 players in the conference, no doubt. And we're banged up in the backcourt. But we really battled through adversity, and really the game was really never in question last night. Just took it right to him from the start.
When you look at the usual suspects on this team, here's Jake Troyley again firing a 3 from the top of the perimeter. I think he hit 9 or 10 or 10 of 11 of his first shots. guys like Cam Carden, Wally Jones, you expect big nights from them, big plays from them. But what can you say about the play of guys who came in last night and really stepped it up? Guys like Tim Pierce and Chance Jones, who came in off the bench. And then, of course, you've got Lorenzo Ross, who did play last night. And while he was probably, I'm going to make a rough estimate and say at about 60%, I mean, he still did come in and give that effort, and that was more than we thought he was going to be able to do last night.
Yeah, and you know, it's always good. I love Tim Pierce. I love that kid. He's got no fear at all. He's a freshman. He doesn't play at all like a freshman. He attacks the basket. He takes shots, and he's confident. You can tell, athletic kid. And then of course you got Chance Jones, who, if you look in the box score, you say, okay, he had 2 points. And me and you both know that was a big 2 points. He knocks down that jumper late in the game to push the lead. There it is. They're showing it right there, actually, right as I speak. And but the bigger story is he checks in the game at 9:42 left in the game. It's a 10-point game, and he holds Ishmael Sanders scoreless. Ishmael Sanders goes 0 for 4 down that stretch after Chance Jones gets in the game, and that's one of the underrated aspects of the game. The things you can't see in the box score, but we know happened. We were there watching the game, and he was terrific too. You can't talk enough about those two guys last night.
Sometimes it's not about offense. It's about the entire game and the things you do away from the basketball. All right, LMU now 13-2. They're 6-1 in league play. It comes down this Saturday to a battle between LMU and Wingate. Wingate, the only unbeaten team in the league now, as they traveled out on the road on Wednesday night and knocked off Anderson at Anderson by 11. The two teams are very similar in style. Obviously, you know, this is a game that it's almost mirror images of each other in terms of the way they play. But we know Wingate. We know Brian Good and his style of play. They're a tough team to play home or away.
Yeah, and we've had some great rivalry battles. And in my mind, I was telling you this last night in the air, that I think that they might be our biggest rival at this point right now. Of course, we lose the heartbreaker last year in the SAC semifinals, and we beat them in the SAC championship. So we've had some big games against them. And I'd hope that this will be a game that we're going to see 40 minutes of man. In my mind, I think that they will. We haven't seen much man in the last couple weeks, but hopefully we will that game. And that's going to be a team that plays to our style. We're the two most similar teams in the conference. And it'll be a great game to watch and to be a part of, and I'm excited for it. They're coming in 7-0, and we're 6-1, and it's a battle for the top spot in the conference.
Well, unfortunately for Adam Plyler and Scott Erland, the home games, it kind of makes it hard for them to get on the air. So it'll be some time before we hear from you again, Scott, on the Railsplitter Sports Network. You've got other duties when we're in-house in the Tex Turner. But, again, thanks for your efforts, and we appreciate what you've done here in the last few weeks and what you're doing down in Sports Information.
We appreciate you, Russ, and thank you very much.
All right, Scott Erland. We'll be back with Josh Schertz when we return here on the Railsplitter Sports Network and the Railsplitter Athletics Report.
Our own backyard.
I am teaching ethics to the next generation of lawyers.
I will make a difference for the underserved of this region.
I will be an advocate for my clients.
As a prosecutor, I fought for those who couldn't speak for themselves.
I'm a lawyer and professor.
I will be a lawyer.
I will be a lawyer.
I will be a lawyer.
I guess we'll take Morty.
Yes. Pick last. Ouch. A vault will put you back on top. It quenches and kicks. Incoming! Yeah! You're a super soda mercenary. Vault. Drinks like a soda, kicks like an energy drink. Get to it!
History comes alive at the Abraham Lincoln Library and Museum on the campus of Lincoln Memorial University in Harrogate, Tennessee. Located 60 miles north of Knoxville and 5 minutes from the entrance of Cumberland Gap National Historic Park, the museum is home of one of the largest privately held Lincoln collections in the country.
A place to learn and play. My museum includes interactive exhibits as well as special events and educational programs. For more information, go to www.lmunet.edu.
We represent the Coke brand. We would like to sue Coca-Cola Zero.
Would you say that we have a case?
For what?
For taste infringement.
We want to just sue them back to the Stone Age to send a message that they're tampering with really the flagship of the company.
It's one company. It's like you suing yourself.
Yeah. But they're on a different part of our floor.
Da, 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 da.
Welcome back to the Railsplitter Athletics Report. As we mentioned earlier, the Lincoln Memorial University men went out on the road this past Saturday and took a very hard-fought battle from the Bears of Lenoir-Rhyne University. They had not lost at home all season. LMU, it was one of those games where it was a battle of runs, and I don't believe I've seen as big of swings as I've seen in that particular game in any other game in my broadcast career. But nonetheless, LMU was tied up at the end of regulation. They went to overtime, won it by 10. Coach, just a bizarre game in an inferno of a place over there in Hickory, North Carolina.
Yeah, probably the strangest win I've been a part of. I mean, we were down, I think 16-5 to start the game, down 11. And then with about 11 minutes to go or so in the first half, and then next thing you know, we're with 7 minutes to go, 6.5 minutes to go, we're up 17, and you're feeling great about things, and we played really well for a stretch, and then we just absolutely collapsed at that point. Went from up 17 with 6.5 to go to tied at regulation, and everything was working against us, momentum and the crowd, and looked like we were dead at that point. And guys responded, and then we wound up winning the game by 10 in overtime, made some big plays. And, that's the one thing with this team that's has been, I think, shown is that they really have a high amount of confidence. They really believe they're going to win. And a lot of times that's what it is. And so we were able to step up and make the plays we needed to.
Jake Troyley's offensive output in the last couple of games has just been off the charts. Cam Carden, another big senior that stepped up for you. Wally Jones has played well, although sustained a setback injury a little bit, but he still played through it against Carson Newman. You see these guys performing as you would expect your seniors to do and your team leaders.
Yeah, we're fortunate. We got 4 seniors here in our top 6 guys. They're all guys that have been around. They've won a lot of games here. They understand the deal, and we just have, those 4 guys, I really believe you go as far as your seniors take you. And we've got a good senior group that really is battle tested, understands what's going on, and understand what it takes to win. And they're not going to be overwhelmed by anything. And you saw that, Saturday at Lenoir-Rhyne to kind of get our, we collapsed, we're dead, and then, they going to overtime, they were able to bring it back up, and we played great, I thought, in overtime to win the game.
The victory over Lenoir-Rhyne was special in that this is one of the better John Lynn's teams I've seen in recent years. They were undefeated at home, so we were able to do something that nobody else has done there at home in SAC play, and overall, for that matter, throughout the entire schedule. Okay, Wednesday night you travel over to Jefferson City into Holt Fieldhouse. Same scenario. They hadn't lost at home. And this Carson Newman team, probably the best Carson Newman team that I've seen since Chuck Benson took over the reins of the program.
Yeah, the guy last night in the interview, the newspaper guy said best team they've had in 15 years. I haven't been around that long, but certainly in the 5 years I've been here, I think it's their best team. They've got a chance to be, I think, an NCAA tournament team, a team that got a chance to make a deep run in the tournament. But we played. I thought, guys played for the most part. We played really well. Offensively, we made a lot of shots, which is something you got to do against their zone. They run a matchup zone. We got the ball inside. We were pretty efficient from the three-point line. Other than free throw shooting offensively, I thought we were terrific. Got the ball inside the zone here, as you can see, which is something we wanted to do, was to get the ball in tight and not settle for jump shots against the zone. You got to play. You got to play inside out, whether it's man or zone. You got to get the ball inside. You can't just shoot perimeter jump shots. But the ones we took, I thought were good. Rhythm jump shots, and that was important. So, but we played offensively, I thought, really, really well.
Again, Jake Troyley leading you, 32 points for the senior. As I alluded to earlier, I think he hit 9 of 10 or 10 of 11 of his first shots in the game, and it's a rare thing when you see a kid having that kind of game. But you said it early in the year. He's a guy who can elevate and shoot over the defender. He's got one of the softest touches of a big man that I've seen at our level, and he was just on his game on Wednesday evening.
He was spectacular. It was one of the better performances I've ever seen. I mean, it was a first half. He just absolutely you said I think it was 9 for 10 at halftime, and he had 21 points in the half. And I thought just offensively. He made some really difficult shots, knocked down a couple threes, made some tough mid-range games. They adjusted their zone to try to take him away, and still he was able to respond. And what a special night for him. He's a guy that certainly is among, when he plays the way he did this week, he's among the best players, obviously, not only in the South Atlantic Conference, but in the country. I mean, there's not too many guys who are 6'10", 6'11", who have the ability to step out, play on the perimeter like he does, and then can play around the basket. He's when he plays the way he's played the last 2 games, we're a tough out for anybody.
Cam Carden, some big shots late in the game. Great effort gut-wise by Wally Jones, by guys like Lorenzo Ross, who came in, tried to play through the pain. But in the postgame, you were quoted as saying that you felt like the player of the game was Chance Jones at a point where Carson Newman was making a comeback late in the game, and we knew they would. Chance Jones was able to come in and really kind of stifle, to a point, Ishmael Sanders, who had gotten on the offensive track.
Yeah, there's no doubt he was a co-MVP of that game. What he did to come in with 10 minutes to go, and the job he did on Ish Sanders was phenomenal. He had 2 points, but everybody that played contributed. Look at our team. Tim Pierce gave us confidence early. He scored 8 points in the first few minutes and got us off to a great start. Jake's play. Vinny gets 12 and 9 and was a solid presence down there. Cam made shots that constantly kept the gap at about 13 or 14. Where they get it to 11, Cam at a 3. He hit 4 huge threes, and Wally's shot kind of was game point. It was 71 to 58 or maybe 69-58 with about 4 minutes to go, and he hit a big 3 in the corner to kind of break their back and ice the game. And everybody that played, Dustin gave us good minutes. There was nobody that came off the bench that I wasn't happy with. Lorenzo struggled just because of his ankle, but he tried to gut out and gave us some minutes to at least give Tim some rest. But certainly Chance Jones, the job he did, and he's a great defender because he's tough, he can slide, he's athletic. You saw him go up and block Ish Sanders' 3. He held him, I think, scoreless the last 10 minutes, and that's Ish is a bad dude. That's a hard guy to guard. He can shoot the 3, he can drive the ball. They run a ton of screens for him. If there's a better guards in the country, Division II, it's a very short list that's ahead of Ish Sanders. Trust me. So what he did last night was special.
One of the byproducts of the victory last night, Josh Schertz captured his 100th career win, and we had a little celebration outside afterwards. We pulled that off of your Twitter account. There's your coaching staff. The confidence. You made a comment about it earlier. The confidence of your wife, Natalie Schertz, who comes up with the nice sign to the game, and she's got the cupcakes, one for everybody on the team. What's up with that?
She obviously didn't let me know.
She's clairvoyant.
Yeah, obviously didn't let me know that she had brought that. I obviously was unaware of all that, and a lot of overconfidence. I appreciate her faith, though. That's nice.
You just wish you'd been as sure.
Yeah. If I had as much confidence as she did, we'd probably never lose. I would have won my 134 games earlier. It'd be 100-0 instead of 134. But no, listen, she's. It's great. We've got as this basketball stuff's a lifestyle. It's not a job. And her and the kids are certainly a part of what we do, and my boys, and they go everywhere with me. And I'm so fortunate to have that support group, because I think if it's where they're competing, whether it's the job or your family, it's kind of, for me, my family's my team, my team's my family. It all kind of blends into one. And so it was great to share that with people you care about.
All right, Coach, we're inside 2 minutes. You're 13-2 now. You're 6-1 in the league. Saturday, a huge battle in the Tex Turner Arena, at least for midseason conference play. You got Wingate coming in here. They're the only unbeaten team in the league at 7-0. They're a tough team to meet. Scott and I talked about it, obviously, very similar to LMU, but it all comes down to Saturday for the battle right now to who's going to take the lead of the South Atlantic Conference.
Yeah, it's a huge game. Let's call it like it is. It's for first place, and if they come in here and get a win, not only do are they 2 games up on us, but we got to go back there. We got to go back to Wingate and play them there at the end of the season. So, it's a huge mid-season clash. You're talking about a team that's won 6 straight games in the league, all by double figures, averaging, I think, margin of victory in the 20s. They're terrific defensively. I think you'll see the 2 best defensive teams in the league. We both know each other very well. We played similar styles. We've played, 6 times the last 2 years, because we played in the conference tournament both years. The games have always been close, physical, hard-fought, not high scoring. And, I expect a similar game on Saturday. It's going to be close, probably not a ton of scoring, because both teams are hard to score on. And, they're well coached. They're going to scout us. They're going to know our stuff. Hopefully, we're at least decently coached. We're going to scout them, know their stuff, and it's going to make it's going to make baskets hard to come by.
Coach, Best of luck on Saturday. Glad to have you back in the Tex Turner, and we're looking forward to it.
Looking forward to seeing everybody Saturday.
All right, Josh Schertz and the Railsplitters against Wingate this Saturday evening at 8 p.m. in the Tex Turner. We're back after this on the Railsplitter Athletics Report.
Nestled at the foot of the Cumberland Gap, Lincoln Memorial University honors the vision and spirit of Abraham Lincoln. Lincoln's values are perfectly in sync with the modern educational experience at LMU. Our students find personal attention is a way of life and a way to success. If Lincoln Memorial University fits your vision of college, visit our website at lmunet.edu for more information.
Sigmund Communications is your local radio and television stations bringing your local information, local news, and the best music from yesterday and today. Sigmund Communications was established in 1987 on the campus of Lincoln Memorial University. Since then, we have been involved in community events and other projects. Sigmund Communications is not only your local radio and television stations, but we are a learning facility aimed at educating students in the field of broadcast communications. Sigmund Communications, not just the great building with satellites that sits on the hill.
We're now MediaStream, bringing home to you more and more improvements. As your hometown team, we're dedicated to bringing our friends and neighbors more service upgrades than ever before. Always available 24/7 customer service and technical support. 30-day money-back guarantee on services. Improved bundles that will save you money. Get ready to do more of the things you love with the people you love and with savings you'll love. Call 1-800-392-2662 for details. MediaStream, bringing it home to you.
Bringing it home to you.
Welcome back to the Railsplitter Athletics Report. Okay, this being the last week of January, next week we will be focusing more on some of the spring sports. We'll still have some highlight footage of the basketball games, of course, from this coming weekend with Wingate, and possibly the next home game on Wednesday. But we will be talking, hopefully, with LMU head baseball coach Jeff Sixeye next week. And we'll be talking about tennis. Of course, all this coming up first week of February. It's hard to believe that you can play outdoor sports in early February, especially with the kind of weather we're looking at throughout the tri-state area right now. But, they get them in. I don't know. They are just hard-nosed. They go out there, they brave the weather, whether it be baseball, tennis, softball, or golf. They're out there hitting the links. They're out there hitting on the courts and on the field. So we got to give them their due where it's necessary, and certainly should be giving them their due. And it's looking to be a good spring season for the Lincoln Memorial University athletic teams. Natalie Layden, we talked with her last week, getting the softball team cranking up. Jeff Sixeye and his team out there shoveling snow off the infield and outfield just to get some practice in. Benny Collins and his team's already on the courts and in inside conditioning, and of course the golf team's on the driving range. And we're going to talk about all that next week right here on the show. Special thanks to my guests tonight, Scott Erland and Josh Schertz. I'm Rusty Peace for everybody behind the scenes. Good night, everybody.